I know what you're thinking. Surely, this guy must be crazy. There is no way you can make friends with a tarantula. But I'm gonna get hands-on with a wild tarantula, and I'm going to try and earn its trust enough that I can pet it, and this is why.
Look at this. A little bitty wolf spider. Not that long ago, even this tiny little spider would have just terrified me.
Fear comes in many forms, but for a lot of people, it has 8 legs and venomous fangs. The spider. While different people will tell you different reasons why these creatures chill them to the bone, I'll tell you mine. I was deathly afraid they would bite me. My journey to beat this fear has taken me around the world, but today it brings me to the pine forests of northern Louisiana, where I'm turning over rocks in hopes of finding a tarantula. These massive spiders take shelter in these hillsides during the day, along with a whole host of other unusual creatures. With spring beginning to wake this landscape from its slumber, under the right rock, I'm sure to find a giant spider.
Oh, big tarantula. Here we go. Have a look at this one. That is the spider we want to see. Let's see if I can get her to come on my hand. I'd be careful here because they have some big fangs. It's the bite. It's always been the bite. Spiders would move in unpredictable ways, and I was always worried that they'd take me by surprise and bite me somewhere. And honestly, this is really annoying because I never really feared any other arthropods the same way I did spiders. To overcome this, I have to see for myself that despite their formidable bites, they have no intention of using it on people. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to hold one in my bare hand. There we go. Hi. Look at that. Now the trick with handling any spider, tarantula, wolf spider, black widow, anything, is to be very, very calm and very collected. And I basically just want to be an extension of her environment. As long as I am not a predator or trying to pick up the spider and eat her and grab her, she's not going to feel threatened. She's certainly not too happy with this interaction right now. She is kind of startled, right? Tarantulas don't have the most great vision. Their eyes really only see light and dark. And she was chilling in that crevice of that rock there. When I disturbed her, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm exposed. And so she is not too sure. Let me see if I can get her to kind of gently walk over me right now. See if we can get her to move a little bit. There we go.
The next step is to understand their movement and behavior. A lot of the fear comes from the unknown. You don't want the spider to move in an unpredictable way so that it can take you by surprise with a bite. But how likely is a tarantula to actually do that? To find out, I have to study the behavior of these spiders carefully as I handle them. Watch their movements, learn their body language. Part of making friends with anything is getting to know them, and this is that process with tarantulas. The more I sit carefully and interact with these spiders, the less mysterious their movements will be.
Now this is not the movement of an animal that is overly stressed. These guys can be fast when they want to. And as long as I'm careful reading her movements here, she should be just fine, and I should be just fine. Hi, buddy. Probably a little female. The nice thing about these females, too, is they tend to be a little bit easier to reason with. Very relaxed, very calm spiders, and their lifestyle kind of reflects that. Tarantulas can live for a really, really long time. In fact, megalomorphs, the order that these spiders belong to, are actually some of the longest lived invertebrates in the world, not just spiders. The record is a trapdoor spider. A female trapdoor spider lived over 43 years, but tarantulas can live a couple decades on their own too. And it's always the females. We're not entirely sure why the females have evolved to live so long, but we expect a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're generally not super active. The males will wander from their burrows and stuff to go search for mates. The females are really only out when they're disturbed. Again, they can be fast when they want to be, but as you can see right here, typical female tarantula fashion, she is very, very calm.
The funny thing about nature is it's inherently lazy. Everything tends towards whatever takes the least amount of energy. And for these megalomorph spiders, with their subterranean lifestyle, the less they need to move, the better. Sure, they can put on bursts of speed if they need to, but across dozens of different individuals that I've worked with, across many different species, and even entirely different geographical regions, this holds true. If I stay calm, the spider stays calm. If I give the spider no reason to fear me, it will give me no reason to fear it. And it's incredible how seeing the different patterns and colors of the tarantulas of the world paints them in an entirely different light. You start to see them not as the giant fanged spiders that are colored by fear, but magnificent living things that, like us, are nothing more than simple creatures trying to make their way in the universe.
Female tarantulas, super calm, super collected, chilling in their burrows, waiting for prey to come announce themselves, and the males usually come to them. Aside from like dispersing when they're younger, they don't have much of a reason to move, so they don't. And as a result, they're usually less exposed to predators, and they're wasting a lot less energy, so they can live a heck of a lot longer. She poses literally no threat to me as long as I pose no threat to her. Letting her walk over my hands here. I do gotta keep an eye on her a little bit. Tarantulas aren't like the wolf spiders and jumping spiders and stuff. They're not big climbers, so they can't really fall from high altitudes and handle it quite as well. They're very heavy-bodied spiders. Sure, they have all that armoring on their body, right? The exoskeleton, but they fall far enough, they'll take fall damage, and sometimes it can even kill them. So gotta make sure I'm very careful. Fortunately, she's not moving too fast. She's not making any daring escape attempts, so I think she'll be just fine. What I love about these spiders is they're so fuzzy. And for some people that might creep them out because, you know, that hairy, big spider, right? But that hair actually serves a purpose. Unlike our hair, which is usually more just for temperature regulation, these guys use their hair as an extension of their nervous system. So those hairs all extend deep beneath the surface of her exoskeleton, and every little fiber can give her information about her environment. Her eyes aren't that good. They're really only for light and dark, right? So how does she experience the world? Well, spiders don't have ears like we do, but they actually sense a lot of the world through vibration. I would imagine it's a very, very different experience to be a tarantula than it is to be a human, but it's kind of interesting to put yourself in their shoes for just a minute to see how they experience life. Really, really incredible. It's a thing. They look kind of mechanical, like little robots or something, but this is indeed a living thing that we share our world with. Beautiful little tarantula. And they're also super soft. That's why they're such popular pets. Even if you're not a big fan of spiders, slow moving, no erratic, unpredictable movements, and let's see if I can give her a pet real quick. If I'm really gentle, I can actually pet her. Just like that. Oh, she's so incredibly soft. They're very, very velvety. In fact, the bottom of their cephalothorax, as it brushes against my skin, it's incredibly soft, incredibly velvety, really, really soft, beautiful spiders. I absolutely love them. As you can see, this is a wild tarantula. We found her right out here underneath a rock, and within just minutes, she's chilling, walking over me, totally calm, my little buddy we found out in the wilderness.
The funny thing about tarantulas is the hardest part of making friends with them is actually just getting over the fear of having a giant spider in your hand. And whether it's a jumping spider, a wolf spider, or a huge tarantula, every time I've pushed past fear, I've seen that the world becomes more of a rich and fascinating place. By conquering my fear of spiders, I've been able to travel to exotic, crazy locations, searching for even more outlandish wildlife than this tarantula. This journey took me to the cloud forests of northern Ecuador in search of the insane bromeliad spiders. If you want to see that video, check it out right here. Hope to see you there, but until next time, don't forget to get outside and find your own adventure.